turns out, according to new reporting from Rolling Stone, Alex Jones deployed an army of spies to keep tabs on his ex-wife and his current wife. And we know this because, as we had reported earlier, Alex Jones's attorneys had, conducted the biggest foible of trials of all time, where they accidentally sent a digital copy of his entire cell phone to plaintiff's attorneys. And through that, we learned all sorts of things, including the fact that Alex Jones had sent a nude photo of his current wife to Roger Stone. But now we're also learning that he had used spies to keep tabs on his ex-wife and his current wife. So the texts describe extensive surveillance during his multi-year custody battle with his ex-wife. Her name is Kelly Jones, including information on her activities, her whereabouts. And this is according to 3 people who are familiar with the matter and spoke to Rolling Stone about this incident, about this situation. And they even read out loud what some of the text messages said. They included dates when they shared these text messages with Rolling Stone reporters. One of the sources also says that Alex Jones's ex-wife was being monitored by a ragtag spy ring of human intelligence. And Kelly Jones, understandably, is shaken by this. And look, to be fair to Kelly Jones, she's been trying to get the word out about the abusive treatment she has been dealing with when it comes to Alex Jones. And she said this to Rolling Stone: "Alex is obsessed with me, has had me followed for years, has done everything to infringe on my liberties and personal freedom to impose himself into my life." She also said, quote, "My life is a gauntlet of waiting for his next nefarious or disingenuous or overtly threatening move. I'm not surprised to find out that he's engaged in this activity. I would really like to find out the extent to which this has occurred and if it's even legal." And I don't know whether what he's done is legal or not, but I do know that not only did he decide to spy on his ex-wife, he also spied on his current wife. And I'll give you details to that in just a second, Cenk. But I just want you to keep in mind, Alex Jones is a guy who talks about the deep state, government surveillance. Seems like he's a big fan of surveillance when he's the one doing it.
Yeah. So on the show, we talk a lot about projection and how the right wing does it. And this is an excellent example of it. And so this is a very common psychological phenomenon, and it's real. That's exactly what they're doing. Whatever's in their heads, they assume is in everybody else's heads, right? And that's part of human nature too. So since Alex Jones is surveilling apparently everybody in his life, like, oh, my ex-wife, my current wife, what are they up to? I don't know. They're probably with other men who are much more attractive than me and who probably have way more Insta-heart than I do. And so I got to track them, et cetera. So he assumes that everybody else is tracking him. Ain't nobody tracking you, dude. Okay, so, and then, Anna, remember, his main thing is conspiracies. This is kind of a conspiracy. Okay. And so he's doing conspiracies. So he assumes everybody else is. By the way, he used apparently some of the former Blackwater guys. Like, those are heavy duty bad guys. And so using their services to spy on people in your personal life, it's exactly the kind of thing he warns people that the government's going to do. And unless you're an idiot Alex Jones fan like Joe Rogan, none of this is remotely surprising. Of course he does this.
So I also want to just mention that back in 2021, after a judge ordered Alex Jones to stay away from his ex-wife, he hired a helicopter to circle over his ex-wife's home. And his ex-wife said that the act terrified their daughter. And obviously, I mean, I would be terrified if I were his ex-wife. And the text revealed that Alex Jones had enlisted Tim Enlow, a former Blackwater mercenary, on his security detail to track his wife. And that's his current wife, by the way. So I don't know why he's tracking his current wife. Sometime in 2019, Jones hired a private investigator to follow his wife, Wulff-Jones. That August, the private investigator called police to report Alex Jones's concern that his current wife may have been suicidal and intoxicated. Police arrested her and charged her with driving while intoxicated, and she's actually still awaiting trial on that whole case. Her name is Erika Wulff-Jones, and she's also the one who, didn't know that her husband sent a nude photo of her to Roger Stone. We found out about that as a result of that whole, phone foible that was committed by his own attorneys.
Yeah, and I mean, actually, we found out about it on the Young Turks when you were doing the interview with the attorney against him in the case, and he said, yeah, some of the text messages were him sending naked pictures of his wife to Roger Stone, and then his wife, that's his current wife, when asked about it by reporters after you broke the story, she was like, no, I didn't know that. And yes, that bothers me. Of course. He's doing every shady thing behind the scenes, just like he says the government does. He's such a fraud. One of our members, Dirge, made a great point. I love doing the show with you guys. Come join us, tyt.com/join. If you're on YouTube, hit the join button below. So Dirge said, if Alex Jones has money to pay an army of surveillance people, he has money to pay the victims he defamed. That's exactly what I was thinking. When Anna said helicopter, I was like, you got money to hire a helicopter to just surveil your wife or ex-wife for a day? And you're telling these guys, oh, no. I ran out of Instacart. I don't have enough money to pay you guys. I went bankrupt. No, you didn't. And guys, if he's lying about all of this, you're really sure he's not lying about the gay frogs and the aliens and the crisis actors and every other insane conspiracy theory? And Anna, look, I mentioned Rogan there in passing, but the Rogans and the Tim Pools, if you know all this stuff and you still support this guy and you encourage people to watch him, it's disqualifying, man. You're saying I'm not a legitimate person. I'm a goofball. I'm an idiot, and I don't mind deceiving my audience and misleading them completely.